So, I'm 67 years old, and for the last 5 years, ever since my wife passed away, I've had my daughter and her husband living in my house, for free. I really thought I was doing the right thing, just helping out family. But last week, that all changed. It all blew up over a simple electric bill.
Yep, those were her exact words. An ultimatum. Screamed at me in the very kitchen I built with my own two hands. She demanded I pay $5,000 a month in rent, or she was going to throw me out of my own home, my own daughter.
I could see it on her husband's face, this smug little look. They thought they had me trapped, just some lonely old man who'd have to cave and pay their ridiculous demand. They had absolutely no idea what a catastrophic mistake they had just made.
Now look, this whole thing didn't just come out of the blue. It was really the grand finale to 5 straight years of freeloading. They moved in right after they got evicted from their apartment in Dallas, saying they were there to support me after my wife died. Let me tell you, the reality was something else entirely.
Let's just be crystal clear about the setup here. I paid for literally everything. You see this list? That $18,000 a year in property taxes? Me. The insurance? Me. Every single utility bill, all the groceries, all the repairs around the house? All me. I even bankrolled their so-called emergencies, like a car repair that somehow turned into a diamond necklace for Emily. And what did they bring to the table? They called it emotional labor. Yeah.
And after all of that, this was their big solution. $5,000 a month. That's the fair price they decided I should pay to keep living in the house that I paid off completely back in 2005. I mean, the sheer audacity, it was just breathtaking.
But this is what really just broke me. I tried to remind her that the house was in my name, and she just laughed. She said that was just old person thinking, a piece of paper. She told me the house belongs to them now, and I was just here, in the way. And right there, in that moment, I knew the daughter I raised was gone. She was replaced by this cold, entitled stranger. So what did I do? Did I argue? Did I beg? Nope. I just nodded my head, very calmly packed one suitcase, and walked right out the front door. I could hear them celebrating as I left, thinking they'd won. They had no clue that my wife Carolyn and I had put a secret fortress in place years ago for a situation just like this. You see, this slide really gets to the heart of it. What they saw was a weak, dependent old man they could just push around. An obstacle. But the reality? Oh, the reality was so different. I was their landlord. And more than that, I was the sole lifetime trustee, the one and only person with complete and total control over that property.
And here's the secret weapon, the irrevocable trust. 10 years back, my wife, my smart Caroline, insisted we go see an estate lawyer. We built this legal fortress, transferring the house out of my name and into this trust. Basically, it means I control the house, but I don't technically own it. So Emily had zero, and I mean zero, legal claim to it. Her ultimatum just turned her into a squatter whose invitation had just expired.
Now, before I did anything, I needed to know why. This felt like more than just greed, It felt like pure desperation. So I checked into a hotel downtown, called my lawyer, Henderson, and told him to hire a private investigator. I had to know what they were so damn afraid of. The PI's report came back in 48 hours, and, wow, it was staggering. The first number he found was $210,000. That's how much debt they were in. We're talking maxed out credit cards, luxury car loans they had no business taking out. They were completely drowning.
But this was the real bombshell. Turns out, Mark wasn't laid off from his job 8 months ago. No, he was fired. For embezzling $50,000. The company told him he had till the end of the month to pay it all back, or they were filing criminal charges. The guy was looking at serious prison time.
And that's when it all clicked. This shows you their real plan. The $5,000 in rent was just the threat. Their real plan was to trick me into signing papers for a home equity loan. They were going to bleed the house dry, pay off Mark's debt, and leave me, an old man, holding the bag. They weren't just trying to get money out of me, they were trying to frame me to save their own skin.
And that was it for me. Any shred of doubt I had just evaporated. I called my lawyer right back and I gave him the order. No traditional sale, no open houses. I told him to call an iBuyer, one of those investment firms that makes instant cash offers, and sell it, sight unseen. I wanted it done fast, and I wanted it done clean.
Henderson warned me, he said I'd probably take a big hit, maybe 15 or 20% below what it was worth. I told him straight up, I don't care about the money. I care about the principle of the thing. A firm called Austin Property Ventures came back with a cash offer of $940,000. I told him to take it. Done.
Now these new owners, Austin Property Ventures, they don't mess around. They're not sentimental. They served a legal notice to vacate on Saturday morning, and because my daughter and her husband were never formal tenants, Texas law gave them exactly 3 days, 72 hours. And at 9:01 a.m. on Tuesday, a constable would be there to physically remove them and everything they owned. So there I was, Saturday morning, sitting in my hotel room, just sipping my coffee, and right on schedule, 9:05 p.m., my phone starts ringing. It's Emily. I let it go for a few rings, took a deep breath, and then I picked up, to the sound of her absolutely shrieking. Notice that? Not, "Dad, what happened?" Not, "How can we fix this?" No, "What did you do?" Immediately, it's my fault. That's my daughter for you. Always the victim. She was hysterical about some big orange "Notice to Vacate" sticker on the front door.
I dropped the whole confused old man act. I told her I knew everything. The debt, Mark's embezzlement, all of it. And then I explained the trust. That I wasn't the owner, I was the trustee. And as the trustee, her ultimatum to pay or get out left me with a pretty clear choice. So I chose to get out. And since the house wasn't needed anymore, I liquidated the asset.
Well, once the truth finally sank in, that she couldn't manipulate me anymore, that the money was gone, the panic just turned into pure rage. And this was her response, screaming at me that I was a monster for doing exactly what she demanded I do.
And this was my final answer to her. I said it in a calm, cold voice. I told her she was the one who redefined our relationship. She put a price tag on my head in my own home. I said you burned the idea of family to the ground the second you gave me that ultimatum.
Oh, the calls kept coming. Of course they did. They confessed to everything, begging me to use the $940,000 to pay off their debts, to keep Mark out of prison. Can you believe it? They still thought they were entitled to the very money they had just tried to steal from me.
I just told them no. I wasn't going to save them from themselves. I hung up the phone, I blocked both of their numbers, and then I turned my phone off. A few minutes later, I picked up the hotel phone and called my son Leo. The son who calls me every week, who has never once asked for a dime. I asked him how he and the kids would feel about a trip to Europe. My treat.
In the end, this whole mess boils down to one simple, fatal mistake. My daughter and her husband confused my kindness for weakness. They mistook my silence for stupidity, and they learned far, far too late that respect has to be a two-way street. So let me ask you, what's the biggest lesson you take away from all this?